This is the podcast that's been named one of the very best in marketing research. We call it Research Business Daily Report. And we're made possible by the exclusive community at the crowdfunding platform patreon.com/RBDR. I'm Bob Lederer, and for more than 25 years, I've been known as the respected voice in market research. Today, we move on to our new episode. It's number 61, and we'll honor Roger Maris in baseball terms because baseball is coming back this week, which will bring a smile to the face of many of us. And number 61 in the RBDR 2020 series Market Research in the COVID-19 era has caused us to reach back to a research legend for a perspective today. He's Dennis Murphy, who played a prominent research role at some of America's most recognizable companies a few decades ago. We're talking about Olympia Brewing, Hewlett-Packard, and IBM. And Dennis also has impressed me over the years because he made a most unusual and successful transition, working in the marketing department as opposed to marketing research. Dennis's comments about what he perceives as research's enormous overlooked challenge with the coronavirus is a posture, and it is based on the fact that he thinks there's another crucial crisis that requires attention and action. Dennis?
Over the past several weeks, you produced quite a vibrant mosaic of how our community perceives market research within this context of the current pandemic. I'm honored that you've recalled me from mothballs as a voice for the antediluvian crowd. Let's begin with the basics. Market research is an auxiliary function, not primary, for without marketing, there really is no market research. Paraphrasing the classic BASF campaign, we don't do the marketing, we help make the marketing better. Our challenge is to bring clarity to our clients, the marketers, to confirm and complement what they know, to supplement what they don't, and occasionally to discover what they don't know that they don't know. While ever bulging, our bag of tricks primarily focus in two realms. First, supporting the yin of market opportunity and the yang of product development by accurately capturing customer attitudes, behaviors, characteristics, desires, and preferences. Then later, providing competitive performance measurements and customer feedback necessary for evaluation, modulation, and hopefully market momentum. Companies steeped in an information culture not only welcome our contribution, they demand it. Pity the cavalier brand manager who stood before Anheuser-Busch III or Lou Gerstner Jr. without having done this homework. Yes, Anheuser-Busch, IBM, and many other organizations have awarded market research that proverbial seat at the table, not because we asked, but because we earned it. We earned it by balancing the often dichotomous responsibilities of a trusted partner to marketing, while concurrently serving as an unbiased auditor of market performance for the corporation. This journey has never been without its peril and potholes, for even in those halcyon days, info enemies lurked. Three stereotypes took center stage. First, cowboys and cowgirls, brand folks who believed fervently that they and they alone understood their market and therefore had divine permission to simply trust their own gut. Number two, invalidators, pokers and prodders until they pop your balloons. A case in point. So if you can't tell me how many respondents were born on leap day, how can I possibly believe this research of yours? Give me a break. Three, untouchables. Senior executives with sufficient pull to push through their pet project with little more than lip service to sound information. CPG generally rooted these folks out, but technology organizations still remain a bit fertile. So what do these renegades have to do with the pandemic? I've highlighted them because, in a sense, they're the seedlings. But the pandemic to which I refer is not COVID-19 itself, but rather a more ubiquitous pandemic, a pan-pandemic, if you will, of malicious misinformation. Communications raft with confusion, deflection, denial, misrepresentation, stonewalling, obfuscation, propaganda, and yes, pathological lying. Info avoiders and data deniers have infected the globe. Daniel Moynihan's assertion that you're entitled to your own opinions but not your own facts rests in the graveyard of discarded wisdom. Facts are distorted, sources dismissed, and disagreeable conclusions labeled fake news. Does this mean something for market research? How could it not? First, in a time when any fact that conflicts with your worldview becomes fake news, doesn't that bode ill for any profession charged with producing facts? Second, if our clients become weary, wary, and confused, might they be less incented to search for the objective information we peddle? And finally, as their bosses challenge any truth they uncover, will we continue to be viewed as a viable and valuable resource? Our trade, focused upon facts, fueled by analytics, and funded for insights, already lies in the crosshairs of distrust by some, and may have crossed the enemy of the people threshold for others. But do have faith. All is not lost. History shows us that their forerunners, the cowboys, invalidators, and untouchables, were more often than not lassoed and maimed by market forces. Can't we hope for, even work for, an equivalent social phenomenon? The question for the current generation is whether the underlying fabric of our society is resolute and resilient enough to withstand the present-day shredding of social norms. Do we have the fortitude to course correct and then to counterattack intolerable affronts to facts, science, and empirical truth? My generation still lingers, but we no longer lead. It's up to you to promote the rigorous protocols of our profession and to instill in coming generations these tenets of scientific method, sadly assaulted by the fearful, the foolish, the feckless, and the frauds. And now it's back to my crypt. Thank you, Bob.
Our thanks to Dennis Murphy, and we want to remind you that we need you for a single or multiple point of view in order for this series to produce and bring everything that it can to the research marketplace. Collaborating with us will help us, of course, and it'll also help you because the video commentary that we'll put together will really be of benefit to you promotionally and advertising-wise. So email your ideas and feelings to rflbob@gmail.com. We can promise you'll have an enjoyable experience. That's your Research Business Daily Report, made possible by the exclusive community at the crowdfunding platform patreon.com/RBDR. If you make it a habit to watch RBDR, we'll thank you. And frankly, if you only watch us once in a while, thank you for that as well. And if you find that the time you spend watching RBDR, the few minutes here or there, please recommend your video to our friends, your friends, and peers. And we hope that you'll consider becoming an RBDR Patreon supporter. We're talking about making a very small monthly donation through your credit card, $5 or $10 for an individual, and perhaps more for a company if they can afford it. It's all doable at patreon.com/RBDR. Have a great research day, and we'll see you back here with us tomorrow.